A beautiful morning to you all, and this is the 29th day of January, just about 2 more days to go, and we're out of January and into February, and I'm delighted to welcome you to another thrilling edition of the Newspaper Review on High Impact 102.1 FM. I am Olumide Shukoya. Kromala is also here. Good morning, Kromala. How was your weekend?
It was okay. Good morning, Olumide. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Omobolade Oladepo.
You have to leave me out of this, really. But yeah, good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, fine. We're all having cold.
Yeah, the weather. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. I really don't understand it.
It's quite funny.
I think the National Emergency Management Agency, no, that's NIMET, Nigerian Meteorological Agency, gave a forecast. I don't think this time it's any longer a forecast. Last week they said we are going to be experiencing hazy weather, and the hazy weather is going to come with dust, and that the weather is going to be it's going to have some form of consequence or is detrimental to the health. You know, I take them seriously until it started having an effect on me. And this morning again, I've heard it over the news that Lagos, Abuja, and one other state is going to be experiencing it. And in my mind, like, we're already experiencing it. And it's annoying because you don't want me to explain how my voice, my throat is hurting right now.
It is hurting, really. It is annoying. Like, throughout the night, last night. You know, the thing about Hamilton is sometimes it gets really hot and sometimes it gets really cold. The air is very dry. It is dusty. So if you're not properly moisturized, your body will suffer. Like, you look whiter than the snowman. And then, of course, you start having cracks all over. The cracks are not just random cracks, they are very painful on the lips, on the face, all of those places. And then if you are not careful, you may catch a flu. Like, you know, your nose is dry, it's just very annoying.
Very, very, very.
And you know, the sad part is, you know, sometimes one part of your nostril is blocked, one part
oh my goodness. We don't even want to get into that part, how it affects your throat. Your throat gets very itchy. You know, how you have to be drinking water at every second, and not just any kind of water, warm water, because cold water also has its consequences on your voice.
It does.
It's just a whole lot. So we just hope everyone out there is keeping safe. I mean, I realized that, you see, the wise people had already started wearing nose masks. Like yesterday at church, I saw that a lot of people were wearing masks. I was like, okay, why? But now I see why, because later in the day, it was a very different. It was a different case entirely. So I had to go and get mine and all of that. I had to take it off when I started talking in the studio. Possibly when I'm done, I wear it back because I really want my nose and my face to be warm.
It is. So please protect yourself out there, and you don't want to. I don't think you want to have an experience of what I'm currently experiencing now.
All right, just do the newspaper review right here on High Impact 102.1 FM. You can join the conversation. You can call our phone lines 0700 1021 1021 or send a WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. There's this story that was trending on Instagram about a professor, Dr. Richard Idowu. I can't really pronounce the surname well. Dr. Richard Idowu, he is actually an American-based Nigerian lecturer who came for the holidays or something. He was summoned to one of the chieftain, the prince's house, and
summoned or invited.
Well, I think that's according to the story. I'm reading the story now.
Okay.
And he had a brief meeting, and after the meeting, they dispersed. All of them, the people who came for the meeting, they dispersed around 8 to 8:30 p.m. Now, according to one of the witnesses, who happens to be his brother, narrating the story, he said the prince ordered the hunters to shoot in the air. Now, I don't know why, maybe to warn people off, but one of the hunters, instead of shooting into the air,
was there a celebration?
Well, instead of shooting into the air, he shot to the ground.
To the ground.
Yes, and the bullet hit the professor and he bled and died.
Yes, I saw that story. I also saw in the story that the mob had to kill the gunman.
The question is why
He left, and this is not the first time we are hearing stories about well-to-do Nigerians who leave the climb in Europe or in America to
Yes.
come back home to do something laudable, something
Yes.
innovative and creative, and in the process they get murdered by other assailants. In the previous case that had to do, in the previous case that involved the Sunday Igboho saga, it was the case of herders, and now these are well, were they celebrating? Even if they were celebrating,
What's
are you not supposed to put your gun on the air and shoot if you were told to let out some shots in a celebrative mood?
This also brings me to a particular trend rather, that has been going on. Mostly VIPs and well-to-do people, when they have escorts, they normally do this thing. Maybe when they're in a
Shoot into the air.
shoot into the air before leaving. Even our celebrities, even our superstars, they do it when they go for a show. When they're about to leave, you see their escorts or their security men shooting into the air. I think the police need to I don't know whether band-aids give a warning, but something has to be done, because this is a very common trend. If you live in, especially in Lagos, if you live in Lagos, you know that this is a very common trend. They start to shoot in the air, and I feel it's somehow it's cringy. It's now it sends the wrong message again to people living abroad, people who just want to come home and enjoy hearing this kind of news.
Yeah, your brother went home and got killed.
I mean, you can imagine
Now telling the
African mothers-
lecturers, telling the school over there where the professor
Yes.
lectures, that he's no longer coming back because he went to his village and he got shot and got killed. Now, why? Because I can't understand. I can't understand why.
It's no. That's such a sad. It's with the way you even painted the scenario,
Yes.
it makes it even worse. Like, oh my goodness. Unfortunately, there's been so much. The news is not very palatable about the country and everything, and then you go back to give these kinds. You know what makes these things worse is the
please.
kinds of stories that goes back.
Yes.
To where it's coming
coming
Where it's
from,
coming
like
from.
the kinds of reports, when you send someone out and then there's a feedback that is worse than what they've already thought.
Yes.
That you're just compounding situations and issues. And I mean, imagine he left and then he did not come back. That is such a sad. Honestly, I'm sending all the love, the condolences, the heartfelt, emotions to the family members, because I cannot imagine what they're feeling. It's a confused feeling. Like,
Yes.
okay, so what exactly is going on? Was this was supposed to be a celebratory, event, and it turns to be something that we're mourning for. Like I'm trying to paint the scenario. Like, imagine if these family members were there watching all of this, and they're like, why? Like, I know that it's a norm where you're celebrating something and you're asked to shoot in the air. I've seen that happen a couple of times. I've seen where
that's in Osun State.
I said that happened a couple of times. I also seen where of course, like you mentioned, Olumide, the celebrities are passing by, and then their security details are shooting in the air. Now, according to reports, it's meant to ward off criminals or any criminal activity. Like, all right, so somebody important is moving, so you had better get off the way, or something's going to happen to you. That was, if you don't move, I move you. That kind of thing. But still, it is just not, because you have to be very careful.
And the number of cases of stray bullets we have in Nigeria is alarming. So many cases of stray bullets. I mean, it's very, even I do not feel people should shoot in the air to scare off criminal, because if you are moving around with very experienced security details who assess the area that you are moving,
in fact,
you don't need to.
I don't even. You know what? The police needs to investigate this matter. I think it's beyond what we say. The KBAC said shoot in the air as a farewell gesture to our guests.
Like,
shoot in the air.
A farewell gesture became.
And you now shot you that security guard. Shoot in the air. You are supposed to point your gun in the air. You shot yours. You was downwards. Why? One, you have disobeyed the instruction. You know the rules. If you have been carrying the gun around,
exactly.
You're a local security guard. Shoot in the air for gesture, for farewell gesture. Yours was even turned downwards, and you shot at the professor and got him killed. They need to investigate that. Yeah, I think the police should not spare anything, any stone unturned in investigating this matter.
Nobody should be spared. Nothing should be left fallow. Like you shot the person that have come to celebrate a farewell. A farewell.
Sent him to his grave, like farewell to the earth. Just go home.
Farewell. What?
Literally,
it was literal, and it's quite sad.
All right, it's still the newspaper review. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll start with the papers. Stay tuned.
Venue on the Sea. A perfect and top-notch location for your special social and corporate occasions. Here at High Impact Cruise, we handle your events with elegance while providing you with outstanding service. An amazing experience you will never forget. For more inquiries, call 0815-181-9580, 0818-824-5734, or visit www.highimpactcruise.com. High Impact Cruise, dream, discover, explore.
Welcome back to the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM. Let's start off with the Vanguard newspaper, and the trending story across three papers is this one: Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger pull out of ECOWAS. I have a couple of writers to that story. We are ready for negotiated solutions. That's coming from ECOWAS Commission. Second one, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger on suspension from ECOWAS. This is coming from our own president, from the presidency. It is a serious diplomatic meltdown. That's coming from former PDP presidential candidate, that's Atiku Abubakar. Now, let's take the first writer, ECOWAS Commission, saying that we are ready for negotiation after they have pulled out. Now, presidency, coming from the presidency, is saying Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger on suspension from ECOWAS. So who are we? I know, yes, our president is also the president of, I think
that of Cote d'Ivoire, Alassane Ouattara should be the president, while Mr. President, occupies a more loftier position. So I think it's Mr. President, because he is not just making that decision on its own. These three countries were, before now, were technically on suspension from ECOWAS.
Okay.
If they were technically on suspension, now that they are pulling out, it's not. The commission saying we are going to negotiate with them. The commission is now on the side of being beggarly, trying to plead with the three countries not to leave. So I don't think they should do it that way.
So who do we go with, ECOWAS or the presidency?
The president, of course.
But it seems as if they are not in agreement.
I think they are in agreement.
If ECOWAS is saying they want to negotiate and the presidency is saying,
who is the mouthpiece and the authority of ECOWAS?
The president.
So who else is ECOWAS? Then who else in ECOWAS is making a contrary statement?
I think that's one of the things that needs to be ironed out. Who is making this contrary statement?
So who then is ECOWAS? So we'll go with what Mr. President said, because he is not speaking from his own. He's in consultation with every other stakeholders and leader in ECOWAS. And if it is coming from him, we'll go with him.
But I think at this point, it's them pulling out of ECOWAS. It's something that it's long coming. I mean, these three countries, they've had a successful coup, and of course ECOWAS suspended them. I mean, so them saying they are pulling out of ECOWAS, it really has no effect on them.
It has no effect on them. Well, it doesn't have to have effect on them. The effect on them is that ECOWAS didn't take decisive action, the military action that they thought about taking even before now. If they had taken the military action they wanted to take before now, maybe we would have been hearing a different story. We remember very well when is it Niger, when they went on a military coup, and Mr. President already sent, in collaboration with other ECOWAS leaders, already sent military officers from ECOWAS member states who are already at the borders and are positioned in strategic areas in the northern part of the country. They had to talk Mr. President into not taking that military action against the Niger Republic because they felt that Niger Republic is contiguous to the north, and we have lots of people who have intermarried. Most likely, you can say Nigerians are part of the Niger Republic community, and the Niger Republicans are also part of the Nigerian community.
Even our
in the
former
north.
Has some
connection.
connections.
So I think they were able to, their conversation. I remember very well Lamido Sanusi himself went on one of those talks, and other very prominent person went on those talks to go speak with the coup plotters. And they doused down this whole situation. This is beyond saying we want to stay. Even no matter the negotiation, they are not going to stay in ECOWAS. Do you know why? They are going with the Russians. They are going with the Russians, and I would not be surprised if they get inducted and brought into the BRICS, into the BRICS nations.
Now I understand Niger. Niger has lithium. I understand why Russia, but what about Burkina Faso and Mali? What do they stand to gain, or what do Russia stand to gain if they are inducted into BRICS?
It's expansion. It's expansion in international politics. Of course, if you belong to the BRICS, one way or the other, you're not in the right relationship with the United States of America, who controls the UN. Who almost like controls the United Nations, and politically, galvanized a lot of countries in the African region. And Russia, I would say, it's starting recently, not just very recent, but compared to the United States, recently in galvanizing some form of support, and that's why it formed the BRICS nations. So they can have the dominating power, not just power, influence, and to protect and maintain their interest. Of course, the Burkina Faso and Mali are going to get some form of economic support from countries like Russia by virtue of their BRICS connection. If they get in there, are going to be getting other benefits also from India, from Brazil, from China, and including South Africa. So it's about interest, and Russia is spreading its tentacles.
All right, quickly let's move on. Just on top of this nameplate, we have federal government inaugurate minimum wage committee tomorrow. Minimum wage. I remember the last time it was about 200,000 the NLC were proposing and all that, but well, let's see how this one pans out. Moving on, corrupt governance responsible for insecurity and banditry in the north. This is coming from Vice President Kashim Shettima. Corrupt governance responsible for insecurity. Well, is it like an admission? Not, but it's good that we are starting to realize where the problem is coming from, and maybe from that we can take the necessary steps to nip it in the bud. Moving on, we have another one coming here, and this one is, if Tinubu misses this opportunity, Nigeria is gone. This is coming from Afenifere, that's Pa Adebanjo. It's on page 17 of the Vanguard newspaper. Forex crisis, high import duty, depress vehicles, order imports. You can find more of that on page 20 of the Vanguard newspaper. And this one, yes, congratulations to our team, our national team. The story here is a sports story. CAF picks Osimhen for random drug test.
They shouldn't just distract him, please.
After a victory.
They shouldn't just distract him.
Well, I think
that shouldn't be distracted. That's how people distracted Tony Amuson. She didn't do well in the last competition. Please, you leave Osimhen alone. You can do all that.
Why?
When we are done with the tournament.
I mean, it's rather funny, but I think that's all we have from the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
And from the Vanguard newspaper, we are moving on to stories making the rounds on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian newspaper, the top stories there said, coup fallout, trade, security concerns as Mali, Niger Republic, Burkina Faso exit ECOWAS. Trade, security concerns as Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso exit ECOWAS. Moving on to other stories. Account for over 40 trillion naira allocations to Federal Capital Territory. Councils. Serap tells a government. Tells government. You get our story on news page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. United States-based professor shot dead in Osun after party. Mob kills a gunman. US-based professor shot dead in Osun after party. Mob kills a gunman. Okay, now that the mob has killed the gunman, the police is going to find it very, very difficult to conclude that part of the investigation, because the gunman should have information if it was sent to do that, or if it was a really accidental accidentally killing the professor. Petrol trading lifts NNPC's profit to $2.7 billion. Saudi Aramco declares $161 billion. Petrol trading lifts NNPC's profit to $2.7 billion. Saudi Aramco declares $161 billion. Beware, COVID infections, fatalities still on the prowl. That is on the news analysis, page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. NRC announces a return of Kano-Lagos train service. NRC, Nigeria Railway Corporation, announces a return of Kano-Lagos train services. It's on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. And those are the stories making the rounds on front page of the Guardian newspaper.
All right, quickly, let's move on to the Daily Trust newspaper. Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, just like the Vanguard, ECOWAS opts for negotiation as Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso quit. 3 writers to that story. Why we pulled out of regional bloc. Action will weaken group. That's according to a diplomat. Atiku urges Nigeria to tighten security. And you have the 3 faces of, will I say, the coup plotters? Yes, on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. War on Gaza, children paying highest price. Not to forget that the war is still going on in Gaza, and lives are, lives keep getting so many updates of how many lives have been lost there. Tinubu to inaugurate minimum wage committee Tuesday. That's on page 6 of the Daily Trust. How security operatives nabbed Nabina's killer. That's according to the police on page 5. Explosion kills 6 in Borno. That's on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper, and that's all we have on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
And from the Daily Trust newspaper, we're moving on to the Punch newspaper. The central caption says, kidnapping epidemic, tracking devices shortage. Tracking device shortage hindering police probes. That's according to sources. Kidnapping epidemic, trading devices, I beg your pardon. Tracking device shortage hindering police probes. That's according to source. We have one writer to that story. Dearth of tracking devices causes delays in investigations. Arrest of abductors, says investigators. Above the nameplate, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger yet to exit formally. That's according to ECOWAS. Okay, meaning they've not sent in letters to the board of the Economic Communities of West African States about their exit. Now, federal government appoints 6 governors to minimum wage panel. IRS demands Achimogu's tax returns after lavish birthday. And moving on to other stories, we can see a caption there of the name of the picture of a celebrity and some drugs that were seized by the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency. NDLEA declares beauty queen wanted, naps a Brazil returnee. NDLEA declares beauty queen wanted, naps a Brazil returnee. 40 trillion naira local government allocations diverted by governors. That's according to SERAP. I wish the government will start taking SERAP seriously. And whenever these cases go to court, I wish the courts on their own contribution to making the dividends of democracy trickle down to the people at the ebb of society, give listening ear to some of these allegations that is being put up by the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project. 40 trillion naira local government allocations diverted by governors. That's according to SERAP. It's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Osun Prince detained after US-based professor's murder. Osun Prince detained after US-based professor's murder. And Naira manufacturers plan general price hike. General price hike, like everything is still going on. Okay, I think sometimes it's superfluous telling them not to increase the price of the manufactured products. However, let's see where this will take us. Naira manufacturers plan general price hike. That story is on page 26 of the Punch newspaper, and those are the stories making the rounds on front page of the Punch newspaper. On that note, we're going to break briefly, and when we come back, we will go to the part B, the section 2, the second segment of our newspaper review this morning. So do stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call
0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Venue on the Sea. A perfect and top-notch location for your special social and corporate occasions. Here at High Impact Cruise, we handle your events with elegance while providing you with outstanding service. An amazing experience you will never forget. For more inquiries, call 0815-181-9580, 0818-824-5734, or visit www.highimpactcruise.com. High Impact Cruise, dream, discover, explore.
Welcome back to the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM. Now, don't forget you can also call to join the conversation 0700 1021 1021. You can also send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. And right now, I have the pleasure of bringing in Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. Good morning, Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. How's your weekend?
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for having me.
Good morning, Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid.
Good morning.
Yes.
All right, quickly, let's get your comment on the pullout of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Now, Vanguard, according to the Guardian newspaper, it says trade and security concerns as Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso exit ECOWAS. Now, we're having two statements. The president is saying they are on suspension. Now, ECOWAS, we do not know who the representative of ECOWAS saying that they are ready for negotiation. But my question now is, what are the trade concerns? Because Niger, and I know Niger is close, we're sharing borders with Niger. So what are the trade concerns? I understand the security concerns because some of these borders are not really manned. But what are the trade and security concerns that might pose a threat to Nigeria at this point?
Well, it's unfortunate that what has happened. For me, let me first of all place on record that look, we think that one just because of lack of quality leadership in ECOWAS. just like we have in every country in Africa, in most countries in West Africa, in West Africa and Africa generally. There is no quality leadership. So ECOWAS it is today now, I don't think they have any quality leadership and any quality direction. There is no any economic integration. So what the major effect of this is that, look, the business being carried out with Nigerians and these countries freely will now have certain conditions attached to it. That will probably, because it's free, it may be free trading between the parties before in terms of ingress and egress. That may not be the case now. There may be conditions attached to it. So it's going to. Unfortunately, again, I'm not sure. Unfortunately, again, I'm not sure. Some of these countries they tend more on Nigeria in terms of economy. But today, I'm not saying before now, but today because they've seen us as we are not more than different from them. They see us as probably equal, and that's why you can see them having that boldness. Because Nigeria before now, I'm saying Nigeria because it's not a Nigerian thing. The Nigerians before now have been seen as the partner of Africa, and everybody fears Nigeria. They fear Nigeria, and they don't do things that will affect us. What I just say, please stop this. They stop. Today they don't even listen to you. You can see our president is the current chairman.
Yes.
And then there was a sanction increase or imposed when that happened.
Yes.
It's not even you to eat, and nothing happened thereafter. So it shows that they don't even care about it. They want to be on their own. They want to continue their own practice, and let's see how it goes.
All right.
I think for me, I see it's lack of leadership.
All right. Earlier on, when Krumala and I were having a discussion, he also made mention of Russia moving into this equation, trying to, lure or trying to persuade them into his own side to join the BRICS. Now, what benefit would that have, and what effect would that have on other countries in Africa?
It may have effect on other African countries. They may want to go the same way, and then in other words, Africa will be distributed in terms of coordination, in terms of living as one. As it is today now, 3 of them have done that, and the other people probably I'm probably maybe thinking that manner. Say, look, these people have left, and nothing has happened. I remember when Abacha was in power. When he was sanctioned by almost everybody in the world, Abacha still maintained his position, and he was there, and he succeeded. In fact, he was able to even retain the dollar the way it was at that time, and nothing happened. So I don't. The people are learning from this kind of a thing. And look, if you can maintain our own lane, probably nothing will happen. And they've seen it. Maybe probably for how many months now they've been sanctioned, and they look at it and say, look, these people with this sanction, we have not seen the effect on our community, on our environment. If you don't join them again, what will happen? Probably that was the reason why they took the decision they took.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Barrister Abdulhamid, let us look at it from a security angle. First of all, the former vice president Atiku Abubakar just gave a warning that Nigeria should be wary of security. We are still battling insecurity in the country with regards to the insurgents and the banditry and kidnapping activities. Now, since the Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger Republic announced their withdrawal, we remember very well that there were allegations against Russia that they aided the military coups in this country by providing the coup plotters with ammunition, weaponry, and some form of intelligence and technology to carry out and masterminded the coup. However, if it goes on like this, it looks as if the Sahel is going to be embroiled in insecurity, and Africa, the level of insecurity in Africa is going to go up. We're talking about countries, the Gulf of Guinea state will be affected, Ghana will be affected, Togo may be affected, Benin Republic and Ivory Coast. And the thing is that it will keep crawling up to Nigeria. So how does the ECOWAS community of states, how do we stop this from increasing and from going on?
I'm not sure the membership of these 3 countries that have left have done anything to us in terms of having protecting our border or security, or giving us a more security. Rather, what we have been hearing is that most of the insecurity we are having come from these neighboring countries. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not sure they are leaving us who will not add more to our insecurity, because now when they are with us, they are unable to control to do anything to help us in terms of preventing people from the neighboring country to enter, particularly the Niger Republic. So we hear most of them are from those countries, allegedly.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, what we need to do is to also internally ensure that our security is fortified. That's the only thing we can do. Don't rely on people outside to give you your security. You provide your own security to ensure that you have your people are secure, to ensure that the environment are secure, and then nothing. But I doubt, because you see we are even internally we are facing a lot of insecurity, and most of the people who are supposed to fight our external fight or whatever are already involved in the internal crisis in the country.
Okay.
The police are supposed to be the one doing the internal security. It appears they are overwhelmed, and the military are taking over or are part of it now. So we lack people, we lack personnel. There are a lot of crises, and then that may be another issue because of that. So the government should do enough to quickly find a way around this thing.
All right.
And engage more personnel to give us more protection.
All right, Barrister Abdulhamid. Now, lastly, before we leave this conversation on this 3 members of West African states leaving the commission, now the ruling officer in Mali, talking about Colonel Assimi Goita, Mr. Ibrahim Traore from Niger, or from Burkina Faso, thereabout, they said one of the reasons why they had to go into this coup is because of jihadists, Islamist jihadists who are, waging war against them, and that ECOWAS, in its own authority and its own body, refused to provide support and to provide form of relief or a convergence of forces to fight the jihadists, to fight away the jihadists, and that's the reason why they are taking this direction. And that currently now they are going to make the fight against this jihadists their priority, since they are leaving the ECOWAS community. And when they do that, don't you think that will push this jihadists or these jihadists towards other countries who are not under military administration at the moment, to worsen the state of insecurity?
Definitely it will happen. Definitely it will happen. Because and I would want to agree with them that it's because they were abandoned in terms of remember they are under sanction.
Yes.
And if you are under sanction, you can't benefit from the.
They were talking before the sanction too.
Yeah. Okay. Before the sanction.
Yes.
It's not even only their country. Even what are those members of the ECOWAS? How well are their own state or country secured? There are insecurity everywhere in some of those countries, and they're not able to do anything. So they don't even have their time to even think of it. I'm not sure. You see, our president as president of ECOWAS, I'm not sure they've done much in terms of presiding over and taking decisions that has to do with ECOWAS. It's overwhelmed with the situation already on ground in the state and in the country, and that is why some of them don't even have time to look outside. They are already battling here. You can't give what you don't have. Most of them have not shown that they can deliver in their state or in their country, talk less of going outside the country to do anything. That is the problem.
All right, sir. I just quickly want to take you to this story from The Punch. Kidnapping epidemic, tracking device shortage hindering police probe. Now, according to a source in the police force, they said that the police had to continue to rely on state-of-the-art tracking devices belonging to the Department of State Services, that's the DSS, resulting in long delays in investigations and arrest of abductors. So my question now is, how do we fight insecurity if the police are not properly funded? Barrister Abdulhamid, are you there?
Said what?
Now, I was talking about the police force. They talked about how they don't have state-of-the-art equipment to fight gas tracking devices to fight kidnapping and banditry, and they had to rely on state-of-the-art equipment belonging to the Department of State Services, that's the DSS, which resulted in long delays and arrest of abductors. So my question is, how, if the police are not properly funded, how do we fight insecurity in Nigeria?
I don't want to agree that they're not properly funded. I don't want to agree with that. It's not as if they're not properly funded. If you say, what do we say about they're properly funded? Either the money given to them has been siphoned or has been taken away by individuals. Because I know every year, I know the kind of figure that has been assigned to police and security generally. That's all we're saying. The passion of the money to other area or personal pocket is the problem. It's not as if there is no enough allocation for security. Security has always been the major target of our budget. He has always been taking the highest what's it called? Highest chunk of our budget. So I don't want to agree that it's because they were not giving enough money. What I would rather prefer is that, look, I'll say is that the money being given to them are being diverted into private pockets and nothing is happening. So no matter what, and sometimes we hear these police, they are not consistent. Sometimes they will come out and tell us everything is not that they have everything in there, and this is that. Then when it comes to when they now fail to do what they are supposed to do, they now come and tell us don't have this, you don't have that. I don't believe that. And yes, I agree. Well, I've been saying it. They are not well funded. Well funded in terms that, look, even the one we are talking about saying that the been assigned to them has not been given to them, and it's not enough, and we're not doing more. But and the little that has been given to them is being taken away by individuals, and nothing happens. So for me, I think they need that. They need the people who are in the one front or who are facing the criminals need to be mobilized. They need adequate mobilization. They need adequate protection in terms of being assured that, look, my families are well taken care of. I'm well taken care of. Without that, nobody can go to war and start thinking of how to pay school fees, how to eat, how his family will not be ejected from their properties. Those are issues. It's an issue. And the government should do something regarding that.
All right. Just before we go, so I'm sure you're aware of the story that's happening in Osun, the Osun prince, who has been detained now after a U.S.-based professor was shot dead by a local hunter who was actually asked to shoot, point the gun up and shoot during the coronation, after the coronation. But the mob now, they got him and he was killed. So let's get your reaction on that first.
So unfortunately, I've not heard about that story. I've not read it, so I don't know much about it. I don't know what happened about it. I'm not saying the truth.
Okay.
But it's unfortunate if that will happen. It's unfortunate. I've not gone through the story. I don't know about it, so I may not be able to say much about it.
All right. Yes.
Except you can like some of the issue to me. They're able to tell you.
All right. Let me take you to, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP. Most of the time, they are perceived or seen as those who are trying to hold public officers accountable for their actions, or to demand some form of transparency in the dealings of government. There is a story on the front page of the Punch newspaper that said a 40 trillion naira local government allocations diverted by governors, says SERAP. Each time SERAP takes the governors or is suing the EFCC or the presidency or the governors in each of the states, they seem, as if nothing seems to come out of it. Now we are talking about 40 trillion naira local government allocations diverted by governors, according to SERAP. Where do you think anything tangible can come out of this? Or should I know you are not the courts, but like, when would SERAP actually secure or get a listening ear from the judicial arm of government?
Yeah, whether anything will come out or not, a different ballgame. What SERAP is doing is to achieve to do their own responsibility. You have your own responsibility to hold government to account and to also expose corruption. That's what they are doing. The individuals also have the right to do that. So if we now do that, and then we do not see anything thereafter from the government, we cannot now hold them. Then to directly to your question, I do not expect anything to happen. What we hear at news is what we are hearing now. In fact, even the Serap, they've gotten so many judgments in court against the government regarding this kind of an issue. How many of them have been enforced? No, I'm not aware of any of them that have been enforced. So it's not about Serap not doing it, but Serap, it will be on record that Serap did their own best. The government has paid to implement what has been achieved by Serap. For me, it's not new. This is known to everybody. It's not new. What they are doing, the corruption in the local government is not new. The corruption being perpetrated by the government, by the governors against the local government is not new. They practically ruined the local government system. They practically eradicated local government. They hardly do local government election. In fact, in my state now, they indirectly, my state is Kwara State. Since the government came into power in 2019, no local government election has been conducted, and there was even a court order, Supreme Court order, to that effect. What they have done now is this: our assembly now passed a law to amend the current law in our state to say the notice of election will not be after will be 1 year, which means the election will not be conducted in 2025. When they are about to leave in the office. So for me, is that is happening because they want to paralyze local government. They want people who they will appoint and control them the way they like and take the money from them. That's what is happening. So it's unfortunate. Serap should continue to not be disturbed by this by the fact that look, there may not be any results from it, and there may not be any action from the government. They should do their own. The court for prosperity will judge them in the future.
Okay, lastly, before this local government, even the local government themselves and the local government councillors or the chairman, they seem to feel very, very comfortable to be in the manipulating hand of their governors. Remember vividly last year, a local government chairman raised an eyebrow against or raised some form of allegations against the governor of Ogun State, Mr. Dapo Abiodun, and before we could say Jack Robinson, the local government councillors got together and impeached the local government chairman. In that case, it doesn't look like they feel, even the local government councillors themselves, they feel the governors are their paymasters and that they owe their political allegiance not to the government of the people at the ebb of society, but to the governors whom they feel have the big stick to wield and can kick them out of office at any time. How do we stop that negative trend in local government administration?
And that is why people are saying, look, we must have local government administration that will be elected by people. What we are having today are people who are put in place by the governor to just to hold the place for them in trust. That's what we're having, and that's what they're doing. That's why you see them appointing TIC. They don't appoint it. They don't have people who will be elected. They have people who are being appointed, who have been chosen singularly by the governor. So the governors expect them to have the loyalty to him. So anybody that is asking questions or not will be seen as a lawyer, and then they will be removed. They have the control of the local government, and that's why you see local government will fighting against its own autonomy. It's bad. It's unheard of.
Voted against their own autonomy.
Yes, they have been doing that because it's not their fault. It's not their fault because they were just holding forth for the governor. The governor only appoint them to hold the key to the local government on their behalf, and that's what they are doing. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Until we have for democratically elected governor, local government administration, whereby people who are elected will be seen as having been elected by the people of the state or local government, and not by the governor. So what we are seeing today is that local government, whereby the government put them there as an appendages of the administration.
All right, Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, thank you very much for this powerful discussion. We do hope to hear from you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you. Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Do have a great week ahead. local government office administrators voting against their own autonomy. That's not just funny. It just talks about the level of the level of corruption,
yes,
and the level of rot in the system.
It's what's happening today. It's what happened in Ogun State. I mean, this person is.
And Ogun State is not just the only state,
Yes, but at least they made. Maybe they made an example of that chairman.
Yes, they kicked him out. Don't say anything like that again to the boss.
Exactly, and that's where democracy is at this time. But we do hope that we would definitely someday, in the nearest future, start to enjoy the dividends of democracy. And this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of the Newspaper Review on High Impact 102.1 FM. I am Olumide Shokoya. Have a lovely day.
I am Oyinpriye Kromale. Good morning to you.